Do you want to hear the most shocking game to me? I think the most surprise game of the weekend was the Carolina Panthers stuck around with the Los
Yeah.
Angeles Rams. They stuck around. A lot of people did not give the Panthers any credit. Didn't give them a single chance to win at home. Cam Newton comes, bangs the drum. I mean, Bank of America Stadium was popping, that Gladiator Stadium feel. Bryce Young, 264 yards, touchdown, interception. Jalen Coker, 134. I mean, what he did in this game, undrafted guy, really stepping up, becoming that new wide receiver too. Xavier Legette, sorry, buddy. I think Coker took over for you. But on the flip side, Matthew Stafford does what he does best. Maybe technically, could we say, did he solidify MVP? I mean, I don't know. It's really, again, should playoffs matter? Recency bias is a thing. Let's just not say what it is. 304, 3 touchdowns, interception. They win this game 34-31. Puka Nacua, 10 receptions, 111 yards, touchdown. Could have been even better, too. He dropped the wide open touchdown. I thought that could have been a deciding factor in this one, and thankfully it wasn't for Nakua's sake. The Rams, they win this football game, but they don't do it pretty, but they find a way to win.
Yeah, sometimes it just comes down to, did you get the win or not? Because if they win this game 34-31, if they win this game 99-98, if they win this game 100 to -6, it's still a W and they're moving on to the next round, right? And I think you predicted this. I think you said Carolina was going to cover because they were 10.5 point.
I did say they'd cover.
Dog. Yeah, you were like, they're going to keep
10.5 point dog, yeah.
And that's what I thought. If they were going to have a chance at this game, like, they just have to stay consistent. They're not going to be able to come back. You know, we've seen a lot of comebacks, and we're going to get to one right here after this. But I didn't think the Panthers would be capable of that. If they can kind of just stay, you know, on the knocking on the door this entire game, you don't want it to come down to one play. You really don't. Same thing with like basketball, right? I know Penn State, Michigan didn't go this way, but Michigan could have taken their first loss to Penn State when they're down. Like, that's one shot. Penn State had one opportunity. If one bucket goes in, you lose the game. You don't want to be in that situation. And it felt like that was going to happen here when the Panthers scored with like a minute something to go. I can't remember the exact timeline on that, but it was very, very close to the end of the game. I actually was like, dang, I think that might be it. I think the Panthers might have done it. Obviously, 4 points, you know, you need to get in the end zone for if you're the Rams. It happened to be a little too fast. It happened to be that this Rams team was able to put together a really solid drive to end it. And you hate that for the Panthers, but to be completely honest, like, who was expecting the Panthers to win? Who was hoping the Panthers would win? And I don't feel like this is the Jags at all. Like, this doesn't feel like the same. You needed this a little bit. Like, it's trajectory. Like, it doesn't feel the same at all. It feels like they found their way in. Like, it was a weird tiebreaker situation. They got a chance to play. They came up short. I don't feel the same, like, I guess, loss, not guilt, but like, it's whatever. They lost this game. You move on. But man, were they close.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I thought the Panthers, you know, of course, they came in with a losing record. They overachieved because they found themselves in the playoffs. I think they're 1 year away. I think this is a way different team next year if they do better things in free agency. I think they proved that free agents are going to want to come to Carolina now. Bryce Young proved that he can be a quarterback that they can rely on. You got to remember, this is a quarterback that just a few years ago was benched. Just last year was benched at a moment, and they decided, okay, maybe is he the right guy? Is Bryce Young the right quarterback? Do they have to do this reset all over again? Because when you reset on a first-year quarterback, especially if you draft someone in the first round, that's like a 5-year deal. That's a 5-year-old deal if you have to reset. Bryce Young just saved this franchise 5 years of heartbreak. And they got back to the playoffs, and I think they're going to be right back there next year. They're going to battle for it in the NFC South. We all know how fun that league is, right? Where it's just a wild west in the NFC South. On the flip side, though, a lot of people think the Rams are still one of those Super Bowl favorites to win. With 4 teams left, you could say that's sure, but I mean, when you look at the Bears, you look at the Seahawks, you look at the Niners right now, the Rams haven't had a good second half of their season. They started super strong. They've had some good games, but the second half of their season, including like really the last 3 before they head into the playoffs, they don't look like the same Rams team. They have most likely the MVP on the team in Matt Stafford. They have 2 of the best wide receivers in football, Nacua and Adams, who basically had 200 yards receiving in this football game. And yet, it feels like they're just not put all together. What's missing from this team? And if they can get it together, if they can put it all together, I think they're the most dangerous team left in the field. But so far over the last month, that hasn't been the case.
Hey, quick timeout. If you haven't already, hit subscribe down below. We're live literally every morning during the week talking about the biggest stories in sports. So you hitting subscribe is completely free and helps us out more than you know. It's a win-win all around. All right, back to the clip. Yeah, I have to agree with you. I definitely had the Rams on a little bit of an upset watch here. I don't know if I had it as much as you did going into this game, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what they exactly need to pin down. I'd love to point to one thing and say, this is what they need to fix. It just feels like the vibes are off, like when you're shooting, I can't tell you why I've missed my last 5 shots. All I can tell you is that I've missed my last 5 shots. Same thing here. I can't tell you why the Rams aren't the same. They're still winning games. Like, this is a playoff win. And what's that worth? I feel like that's worth a lot. Obviously, it's only over the Panthers, but still a win and on to the next round. But they don't look the same. And they get some time here to do some reevaluation, obviously get ready for this next one. I couldn't answer that for you, though. I hope Matt Stafford finds a way to keep it moving. Like, that they've got some tough opponents, so just going to come down to playoff experience, I think, and he's got that.
Yeah, they're going to travel to Chicago, cold Chicago, to take on the Bears, who had a good game themselves. We're going to get to that in just a second. The Rams' special teams has been not good either. The Panthers got a block punt. Rams have had some issues on special teams. That's probably one of the biggest things. I'm sure that bugs Sean McVay like no other. Of course, he's an offensive mastermind, and that's what drives me nuts as well. That's what drives me personally nuts, is that they have so many good weapons on this team. Matt Stafford, I mean, a lot of people have ruled him out, potentially not even playing this year because of all his back injuries. A lot of people are making jokes saying this is not Matt Stafford, it's a clone of him. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum stepping up on the running game. And then you got Nacua and Adams. Adams hasn't been healthy, I think, all season, but he's still playing right now. You have all these weapons. And yes, you get the job done against Carolina, but it's a different beast going from Bank of America Stadium in North Carolina than going to Chicago in the wintry tundra, in the frozen tundra. Look at that. Brought that back to take on the Chicago Bears. What do you think about that?
I mean, this Bears team's going to be tough, man. They're not obviously a world beater, I don't think. They find ways to win games, though, and I think that's all you can really ask for. So this Rams team, the same thing. It's going to be it feels a little bit like what are they? It's like a immovable force versus on whatever that it's just like we'll see who wins. It's going to come down to probably the final play, which is obviously lending itself to another great playoff game. I can't wait to talk about the Bears here in a second, but last thought on the Rams, they moved on and they're going to have to find a way to just score more points in the next round. That's basically what it comes down to. That's how I view this team. Hey, just wanted to thank you for watching the entire video. If you haven't already, consider hitting subscribe down below. It helps the channel grow and helps us bring better content to you guys every single day. We're live literally every Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 Eastern talking about the biggest stories in sports. So if you haven't dropped by, you really should. We love interacting with chatters, hearing your guys' opinions. You could easily become a part of the show. So hit subscribe and tell a friend. I'll see you in the morning.